All right, we're down.
Okay, well, here we are. It's the British Rental Kart Championship final. I'm James Auld. I'm the commentator for the BRKC in 2019. Spanners, my co-commentator, is going to be in the pit lane. We've got the grand final now. We've got single kart qualifying and then the final itself. So Spanners, I believe, is in the pit lane, potentially going to be talking to people. So we'll head down to the pit lane, and Spanners, join us for the action.
I have your attention. We are in the pit lane for the final qualifying. So what's going to happen here is they're all going to each take a turn, and I apologise if James has already explained this. They're all going to take their turn in the number 11 kart, and when they hop out after that exhausting lap, I'm going to shove this microphone in their face and get an opinion from them as well, and we'll see who else is willing to talk. Obviously a lot of the drivers have congregated down here. I don't know yet who is first to jump in. Who's that? Who's first to jump in? Who have we got? Okay, how have you enjoyed the tournament so far with Pascores?
Yeah, good.
He says it's good. Comprehensive analysis. So we have the, I believe that's the marshal who's gone out there to test the kart. Is that right? Is that a marshal who's gone out in the kart now? Yeah. So he's going to make it nice and warm for everyone. And we'll see what kind of lap time he gets as a reference as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. So who's helmeted up, ready to go here? I believe, is that Johan? Yeah, that's Medart, who's... Okay, let's have a word with Dante. Dante, you just missed out. They're telling me to talk to you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Good semi-final, though.
Yeah, it was a good semi-final. Obviously, would have been fourth if I didn't let Brandon through, but I think that seems to have helped him get into the final.
What a noble sacrifice. Does he owe you a pint?
He definitely does. He owes me something, but no, it looked like he would have got in anyway, which is good. It would have been very tight, though, but yeah.
Now, he has... Is this his first BRKC? He's sort of come in and he stamped his name all over it. Were you expecting that?
To be honest, I was, because I came down when he was his first time here. I came down with him. In the first one, he was well off. He's like, oh, I might not turn up if I'm this slow. And then as the sessions went on, he got better and better and better. And obviously, he's in the final. So
big show off, isn't he? He's a tall lad, though. Is he on the weight limit or is he too scrawny?
I think he's at 90.3, so he's playing with it, but he's going to down some water afterwards, so he'll be fine.
All right, then, let's have some predictions then, because he has the guy who's kind of appeared and taken it by storm. So give us a prediction then out of this top 10.
For quali?
Yeah, for William. No, for Williams overall.
Williams overall. I would love to see him get at least like a top 6, because obviously this is a really difficult set of drivers, but I don't know. It really depends how good the quali goes.
Some teammate, I'd have liked to see a bit more optimism than a top 6. Tell you what, I'll shove you out the way and let's have a word with Brad. Brad, you know this top 10 more than I do. Who are you expecting to really impress?
Well, interestingly, Ruben's actually only been on pole here once, I think, for the final, despite having won it every year. So, I mean, he's obviously a threat, but literally everyone in this final can take the pole. I'm gonna pin my colours to the mast and say Ed White.
Really? Because Ed's not been as sort of dominant as he was, say, last year, when he was really stamping his name all over the tournament. You think he can make good in the final?
I think he's going to be going out late enough in this qualifying session. There'll be some temperature in the tyres, and I think he'll do something special. It's purely a guess, though.
And then you've got Lee Hackett, who pretends that, am I in the final, am I? Oh, I didn't realise.
Yeah, there's a few people like to play themselves down, aren't there? But it's going to be very, very serious now for the next 20 minutes.
Is this a qualifying lap?
Okay, and you're joining us now. This is the first qualifier. It's Dean Hell. Dean Hell has got into the final, and he is out to qualify first. And we'll see what he can do. He's on his qualifier as we speak. He's done his warm-up lap. He's on his qualifier, and he's coming through to finish that lap. They're giving him the checker. He's crossing the line. It is 32.7. So Dean Hale opens up the qualifying here. They're going to all be using the same kart to qualify for the final. So there's absolutely no reason to assume that someone's going to be disadvantaged. It's only a single out lap and a qualifier and an in. So there's even no question over fuel loose either. It's really going to be tight. Dean Hale has set the pace now with with 32.7. That is Dean Hale. He is the lowest point scorer, so he is therefore first out to qualify. Dean Hale, TKM champion last year, switching to indoors for this particular event, and there is Dean Hale. He's been such a star, a debut in the BRKC this year. He's won races, he's made it into the final. It really is against the odds. He's bringing the kart in. He's set 32.7 second. Now he's going to hand that kart over to the second qualifier, which is Lewis Manley. Now Dean Hale takes his weights away from the kart, weighted up to that 90 kilos. In gets Lewis Manley, weighting up the kart so that he matches the weight limit. Absolutely identical situation then overall. So Lewis Manley is just getting himself sorted. Now, Lewis Manley, we saw great wins in the main heat races, but such a struggle in the final. Massive importance, therefore, that he made it into the final by a dint of those great results in the heat races, because the semi-final, quite frankly, was a real mare for Lewis Manley. Back over to Spanners in the pits.
You've set the pace for us, Dean. How do you feel about that? Did you nail that?
It was all right. I went round, I didn't crash into anything, so we'll just see how it turns out, really.
Lewis Manley about to do his hot lap. What represents a good lap for you?
Him, normally. Yeah, just getting the right bit of track, not losing the lines around the tight corners, like down the end of the straight.
Good luck for the final.
Okay, and you rejoin the action with Lewis Manley on his qualifying lap. Lewis Manley, he's trying to chase down Dean Hale's time of 32.7 seconds. He's onto the backstretch, single kart qualifying, as is the way, and round that corner at the end of the backstretch. Now Lewis Manley almost at the end of the lap. One more corner to navigate, and what's it going to be? He's getting the checker, he's crossing the line, and Lewis Manley, is he going to go first or second? He's gone second, but very close, 7/100ths of a second. 0.075 of a second puts Lewis Manley second in the lineup at the moment. So Lewis Manley is second place, and Lewis Manley's going to bring it around and come back in the pits. Next up to qualify, I believe, is going to be Brandon Williams. Now Brandon Williams, a very interesting situation there. He has made the final, but it would appear that Dante Dillon on the semi-final actually waved Brandon Williams ahead. He waved his friend ahead, knowing that he, Dillon, did not have enough points to go through the final. That has allowed Brandon Williams to make it into this race. So Dante Dillon, totally selfless act there, has put Brandon Williams, who is qualifying next. Lewis Manley has completed his qualifying run. We're down to Spanners in the pits, who's going to be talking to Lewis Manley as Brandon Williams gets his situation sorted out, ready to qualify. Look at that seat insert. Okay, so we've got Brandon Williams, who's heading out onto the track, and I believe Lewis Manley is there with Spanners.
Very close, Lewis, just behind Dean there, very close. What can you do from here?
Tried the best as I can. Didn't have the best lap, really. Through the snow, I just seemed to go a little bit stiff braking and just didn't get the momentum as I wanted. So I'm trying everything as I can and just try and please my friends and family.
Good luck, Lewis Manley. I'm sure you'll do yourself proud. Just behind Dean Hale there, Lewis Manley. Back to you, James.
Okay, and you rejoin the action here. Brandon Williams is the third qualifier. He's made it into the final with the help of Dante Dillon there in the semi-final. And Brandon Williams, he's a debutant in the British Rental Kart Championship this year. He's a champion with Kart Sport, and he's won races. Incredibly, he's been the only driver really, apart from Johan Medart, to take the fight and beat Ruben Boutens in a heat race. That's not happened for a long time. He's on his qualifier now. He's looking good. He's at the far end of the straight and around the section here into the final hairpin here. What's it going to be? He's going to cross the line in a second now. They're giving him the flag, and Williams is third, 0.2 of a second. Well, actually, in reality, yeah, just under 0.2 of a second off. And Williams is third, 0.2 of a second down. And so it's shaping up pretty tight here. Currently, Dean Hale leads the way from Lewis Manley and Brandon Williams. Next up to qualify is going to be Lee Hackett. So that was Brandon Williams' effort there. He's he's not lost a lot. It's only 0.2 of a second. I know it's tight at this level of the game, but it's he may not be as far down the order as he thinks. It is Lee Hackett who's getting ready next. Lee Hackett is a twice British champion, so Lee Hackett will see what a double British champion can do. When Lee Hackett won his championships though in 2012, 2013, it was a multi-venue event, but Lee Hackett has adapted well to the single weekend championship, and he's put himself into the final here. So here is Lee Hackett about to take over. So there is Brandon Williams. He's in third place provisionally for the qualifying there. You can see he's carrying a lot more weight in the seat. That seat insert is weighted up to bring Brandon Williams up to the kilo requirement. There is former champion Lee Hackett. He's heading out to start his warm-up lap and then his qualifier, and we'll have Spanners interviewing Brandon Williams as soon as possible, but Lee Hackett is out on track on his warming up lap. Lee Hackett, the fourth driver out to qualify of 10, rounding the long fast corner to the backstretch. Next time he takes this part, he's going to be under qualifying conditions. Lee Hackett down the bottom end of the course there, and round the final turn. He's about to qualify, just 2 corners away from qualifying in the final of the British Rental Kart Championship 2019. Former champion Lee Hackett across the line. And
I was trying to have a word with Brandon. Very much not in the mood to talk at the moment. 0.2 off the pace, and I don't think he's very pleased with that. The body language as he bounced over the line indicated he hadn't got every ounce of lap time out of it. So back up to you, James.
Okay, thanks there, Spanners. And Lee Hackett is on his qualifier. He's down the back stretch. He's looking good. He's looking very good indeed. Around this turn, on towards the final corner. It's a tight hairpin. There it is. There's Lee Hackett. He's going to cross the line. What's it going to be? He's gone fastest. He's taken provisional pole by 0.2 of a second. 32.5 is the benchmark, and it's been set by twice champion Lee Hackett. He's turned up, he's done brilliantly this year. He's won races, and he's put himself on the provisional pole position for the British Rental Kart Championship 2019 final. And Lee Hackett will really be pleased with that one. He may or may not know the results. There's a scoreboard around the track. He may have looked at it. He's coming back in the pits. And Lee Hackett on the provisional pole position. But a major threat coming up now. The next driver is Ed White. Ed White was the top place British driver last year, and Ed White has won races too, and hopefully Spanners will be getting a word with Lee Hackett. Ed White takes to the track.
Okay, this is Spanners down in the pit lane. Let's see if we can grab a word with Lee. You always try and make out like, oh, you're just here by accident. You've nailed that lap.
Yeah, pretty happy with that one. I didn't even see actually, because I wanted to give Ed, my friend, a warm cart.
You're all heart, that's your problem.
It's too much love. But yeah, really happy with that time.
So minimum you're starting 6th or 7th, aren't you? So that's a good chance for a good result.
Yeah, hopefully.
Go for it. Back to you, James.
Okay, so we're looking now at Ed White. Ed White is starting his qualifying lap. So Ed White is in qualifying conditions now. He's looking to beat Lee Hackett's time of 32.5. There's 0.1 behind him for Hale, 0.2 behind him for Manley, and 0.4 behind him for Brandon Williams. But here comes Ed White, top place British driver in the Rental Kart Championship last year. And he's down the backstretch there, absolute full speed here. He's turning in at the end of the course there, and round this long looping right-hander, heading for the final hairpin left. There is the hairpin left, and he's going to be across the line. What's it going to be for Ed White? Is he going to go fastest? He's second. He's a 10th of Lee Hackett, double British champion Lee Hackett. Ed White is provisionally second on the starting lineup. He's already seen the time there on the screen, but it's second place at the moment for Ed White. Now, so far we've had the British drivers out to qualify, and the other half of the field is all our foreign drivers. It's just luck of the draw that it's worked out this way, and the final British driver out there qualifying was Ed White. We see he's coming back around down the long backstretch, backed off the power here, down towards this corner, and he's almost at the end of the lap. And in the pit lane, getting ready to qualify is the first of the foreign contingent. It is, of course, the epic driver Logan Sunay, the Belgian. Logan Sunay is going to be qualifying next. Always a strong competitor and vastly experienced in international racing, international rental kart racing. So Ed White has put himself provisionally second on the grid by 0.1 of a second to Lee Hackett. He takes his weights out. Logan Sune puts his in. And Sune, the Belgian, as we've said many times this weekend, a member of the Blue Star Racing team, that absolutely crack outfit from Belgium. They compete in many championships across Europe particularly, but also in the world. Logan Sune out to qualify. Obviously, Spanner's going to get hold of Ed White as soon as he can.
I'm in the pit lane with Ed White. You've not quite got in front of Lee Hackett, but a good team effort for the beer leavers. Who's the #1 driver out of you and Lee?
Well, it looks like Lee.
He doesn't have to let you by. We're not going to say Lee, Ed is faster than you.
I think you should, actually. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
It's a good lap. Good luck for the final, Ed.
Okay, so Logan Sune is starting his qualifier. He's just coming off the final corner. Now he's on his qualifying lap. He knows what Lee Hackett set to set the provisional pole position time. Logan Sune into the Snell section, and he's keeping it tight, he's keeping it neat. He's running out wide there and then back across this long looping left-hander towards the fast backstretch. There is Logan Sune. Logan Sune sweeping out down the backstretch there. He knows he's chasing 32.5 seconds. And it could be quick, it may not be, we'll see what happens. He's on the final turn now, the hairpin here. Is he going to challenge Lee Hackett? He takes the line, and second place for Logan Sune. Lee Hackett takes the provisional pole position again. Logan Sune 0.1 second off, only 200ths away from the incredible Ed White. So Lee Hackett still fastest, and of course nail-biting times for Lee Hackett as all the remaining drivers basically line themselves up and shoot for his lap time. So Logan Sune, he will have seen the board, he knows he's second. He's going to of course be hoping he stays there, but it is still Lee Hackett, twice British champion, now based in London, from Herefordshire though, originally rose to prominence at Hereford Raceway and is a former British champion. So Logan Sune is getting out of the kart. Next one in is going to be one of the Gerb brothers, Michael Gerb. And Michael Gerb, 4 times Polish champion. And Logan Sune is just going to keep himself to himself for this one. We're going to be watching everything that happens with Gerb. Gerb's getting in the car now. Michael Gerb, 4 times Polish champion, is about to take to the track. Just getting the weight sorted out and everything correct on the kart, and then he will be out to qualify. Slavek Piskors there, getting a great close-up shot there as Michael Gerb, a debutant again in the BRKC this year. Quite a few of the debutants showing incredible speed and racecraft to put themselves into the final. That is a big rarity that any of the debutants make the final, but quite a few of them this year. So Michael Gerb, the Polish driver, as I said already, 4 times Polish champion. He's coming back down the straight there towards the end of his warm-up lap. He knows what he's shooting for. It's 32.5 seconds set by Lee Hackett. Logan Sune is only 1.0 behind that, and sorry, 0.10 and 0.12 for Ed White. Now he's on his qualifier. This is important for Gerb. He's going to have to try and beat Hackett if he's going to stand a chance of winning this final. Speed counts, but racecraft, and everyone's got great racecraft here. So Gerb, the debutant, could do with qualifying on pole here. He's out onto the backstretch. There he goes down the backstretch. Not really that tight against the wall, it has to be said. Into the final turn at the end of straight there, into this last left, and then the final hairpin right. And there's Gerb. What's it going to be? He's looking good. He's looking good. Is he going to beat Hackett? He does. He beats Lee Hackett incredibly by 200ths of a second. Michael Gerb, incredibly, 200ths of a second. He'll barely believe it. Lee Hackett will barely believe it. We all barely believe it. But it's the debutant Michael Gerb from Poland, the 4-time Polish champion, is currently provisionally on pole position for the British Rental Car Championship Final 2019. There's Michael Gerb coming down the straight there. Well, he's done everything he can, and that was good enough for provisional pole position. Lee Hackett, though, is still looking good in second place. He's in the pits. And down into the pit, there's Gerb. He completes that. He's provisionally on pole position. He now gets to see what a handshake there for Patrick Naroda. Patrick Naroda, friendly pat on the back, but now starts the aggressive business of trying to knock Michael Gerb off the top step there. Well Spanners, I think, is trying to get a word.
Only a quick one. I'm with Michael Gerb. pole position. Did you get everything out of that?
Yeah, provisional pole. We have a free driver. We see.
Minimum, I think you're starting 4th. That's great, isn't it? You've got to go for the podium.
Yeah, that's not bad. I need a good car to win, but we will see.
You look quietly confident. I reckon he's quietly confident. Back to you, James.
Nice one there, Spanners. Now we've got Patrick Neroda, who's about to start his qualifying lap. Patrick Neroda, one of the epic performers at any level in karting, on his flying lap now. Patrick Neroda knows it's a 32.524 to shoot for the pole position there, which will give him the first place start provisionally. And Neroda wants nothing less. That's going to be, well, it's never going to be easy, but it's going to be a bit less difficult if he can start from that top place. Michael Gerb, the debutant, is provisionally on pole. Patrick Neroda, we've seen him many times. As Neroda comes around the final turn, this is his qualifier. What's it going to be? He's looking very good indeed as he crosses the line. He is third place, 0.02 of a second from Michael Gerb, but that is only good enough for third. So Neroda, he's leapfrogged everybody except Hackett and Gerb. So Neroda very, very close on time, but just not quite close enough to knock Gerb and Hackett away from those top 2 positions. So very, very tight indeed, only 0.02 of a second off, but down in third place for Patrick Neroda. Patrick Neroda now brings it on round, and next up, who's going to be the qualifier now? It is going to be Johan Medart. 2 more qualifiers to go, and what qualifiers they are. It's going to be Johan Medart, followed by reigning world champion Ruben Boutens. There's Medart, Johan Medart. He was a debutant last year. He almost managed to win the championship, ended up third, and then famously slipped over in the presentations with the champagne, nearly taking out champion Ruben Boutens. Just getting the kart suited to his liking there is Johan Medart. As you can see, a member of the Blue Star Racing team. Seriously quick outfit from Belgium, win regularly on this international scene. So, has Spanners anything for us on this one?
That's a decent lap. What represents a good final for you this week? What do you think is a good place for you this week to finish in the race?
Yeah, I hope it will be my end place, but it will be very hard because Ruben is going now and Johan. So I think I will be maybe 5th after qualification.
In the race first?
We'll see. Yeah.
Quietly confident again. There's a sly look in your eye, Patrick. Good luck. Back to you, James.
Nice one, Spanners, and it's Johan Medart now. He's shooting for Gerb's time there of 32.524. If anyone can do it, Johan Medart is one of the 2 remaining people who can. He's completing his qualifying lap now. It's the final turn now. Medart is looking fast, as he always does. What's it going to be? It's only 7th. Well, we're saying only 7th. This is epic performance here, but it is a 32.7, and he puts himself behind Dean Hale. So Johan Medart is actually lower down the order than he was last year. So we'll see if he can turn that around in the race itself. But he has qualified what is that, 7th place? Yes, and I think Johan Medart will be a bit disappointed with that. Johan Medart all day long we'd hype up as being someone capable of dealing with Gerb's time, but it hasn't happened. He is in fact 7th place. People behind him at the moment are Manley and Williams, and Johan Medart comes into the pits. He's going to bring it to a stop, and it is the final qualifier. Who is it? Of course, the remaining qualifier is 5 times British champion Ruben Boutens, double world champion. He won the world championship for the first time after many years when it was expected of him. And Johan Medart walking away. I don't think Spanner's going to get into the interview with Johan Medart there. As
oh, am I okay? Well, I decided that discretion was the better part of valor. Obviously, Johan's not going to be delighted. He's popped up in provisional 7th place, which will probably be 8th place, and he's left the pit lane, hopped over the barrier, and gone. Yeah.
Okay then, so on track now is Ruben Boutons, and Ruben Boutons, the reigning world champion. He was world champion for the first time in Spain in 2017, backed that up with a title when it moved to Poland 2018. He's going to be racing the world championship later on this year, but at the moment he's trying to win the British Championship for the 6th time. He has made the final, he's the final person to go out to qualify, and he's going to begin his qualifying lap now. And this is by far the established benchmark of Ruben Boutons. He's rated as the top driver in the world, double world champion, as I say. He's looking for 6 consecutive British Championship wins. Ruben Boutons around the fast right onto the backstretch. Here he comes on the backstretch there. Ruben Boutons looking for 6 British titles. And he's going to edge towards that with this qualifying lap. This is crucial to his ambitions in that 6th title there. He's going to complete the lap now. He's taking the checker. What is it? It's 3rd place for Ruben Boutons. So Ruben Boutons, well, there are, let's look at it, 7 British titles, 7 British rental car championships in the top 3. None for Gerb, who's on pole. 2 for Hackett, who's 2nd, and 5 for Ruben Boutons, who is 3rd. However, Hackett and Gerb cannot relax here, because Ruben Boutons may be 3rd, but he's not defeated. When he took the title for the first time in the final, he had only qualified 5th. So Ruben Boutons still very dangerous, despite appearing to miss out on the pole position there. He cannot be discounted. Anyone discounting Ruben Boutons is making a major mistake. Spanners, obviously you're down in the pit lane there. You may be able to get a word with Ruben Boutons, the reigning world champion. See what you can do down there, but at the moment it's Michael Gerb, the debutant from Poland, 4 times Polish champion, on the pole position from double world champion Lee Hackett and 5 times British champion Ruben Boutons. Spanners, he's heading your way.
Yep. Now, am I live? Hi guys, yeah, I'm here with poleman Michael Gerb. That, you can't have dreamt of pole position in the final.
Yeah, amazing feeling. Really nice lap. Really small difference between first 2 driver. Now let's final.
Good luck for the race. A real turn-up actually, that we've got Lee Hackett quietly going about his business, and suddenly there he is, 2nd ahead of Ruben Boutons. Let's see if we can grab a word with Ruben at any point. I've got a feeling he's not going to take his helmet off now, but he's in 3rd place. He's going to be contemplating what he's going to do for the final. We've seen him when he's not been in 1st place be very aggressive, get down the inside of people, and I think if you're in front of Ruben Boutons in this final, you are going to have to be defensive. He is going to attack, and we've seen him win in finals from not 1st place before. Let's see, he's still got his helmet on, he's talking to his teammates. Let's get a sense of what's going on around us at the moment. Everybody very much in race mode. Let's see if we can grab a word with Lee as well, because Lee, before you get your helmet on, did you imagine that you'd end up in 2nd place?
Well, no. Obviously qualifying in, 7th, and must have just pulled it out of the bag when I needed it. It's a shame that I'm picking my car at 7th. I've got to hope for the right machine now. And
you got quite a good bloke behind you there.
Oh, what, Ruben?
You'll deal with it, won't you?
I don't know about that. We'll give it a go.
Best of luck. These gladiators, are they clearing from me now? I'm assuming we're going back up to James, who's going to get us ready for the final. I'll see you up there in a minute.
Thank you there, Spanners. A quick interview there with Lee Hackett, who is the best placed British driver in the lineup. Just going to go over that lineup again. We have the Polish, 4 times Polish champion Michael Gerb in pole position there. Lee Hackett just a couple of hundredths of a second behind him. Lee Hackett, double British champion, and looking to make it 3 if he can. He's the top placed British driver in 2nd place. Ruben Boutons, the reigning British champion, 5 times champion of Britain and champion of just about every other country in Europe over the years. Double world champion Ruben Boutons is lining up in 3rd place. Patrick Neroda. Now Patrick Neroda is right up there in 4th place. I think this is the best performance we've seen. That single lap, he's been up there in the heat race in the semi-final as well, but on that single lap there, that has probably done the greatest bit of driving for Neroda in the whole championship so far. Logan Sune is in 5th place. The 2nd place British driver in the lineup is Ed White. He was the top Brit last year. This time he's in 6th place in the starting lineup. Dean Hale, a debutant, the debutant there, Dean Hell, TKM champion. He's going to start in 7th place. Johan Medart is going to be in 8th place. Now, Johan Medart was 3rd last time. It looked as though he was the most likely to challenge Ruben Boutens for the result last year of champion, but Tom van Dijk, of course, came between them. Tom van Dijk not racing this year, but Johan Medart is going to try and get to the front from that 8th place, you can be sure. Lewis Manley, for so many years regarded going in as one of Britain's great hopes. He's made the final just, but he is 9th on the grid there. I think we'll see Lewis trying to move forward. When he was qualified a bit far back in the semi-final, we saw an early pit stop from Lewis Manley. We may see the same again. And rounding them out there, another debutant, Brandon Williams, and what a show it's been by Brandon Williams. He really has worked well there. He's in 10th place for the start, but as the only other driver apart from Johan Medart to beat Ruben Boutens straight in a race, you've got to say Brandon Williams is still some kind of threat from 10th place. We'll see what he says. Spanners, it's been quite an interesting qualifying session there.
Yeah.
But Lee Hackett, the top place Brit, he was talking to you at the end. How do you rate his chances?
I fancy it. I don't think there's anything he can't do now, to be honest. I think both the guys that are up front, I'm not saying that they weren't expecting to be up front, but they are delighted, I think, with their places. Less so Brandon Williams, of course. He seemed to be beating himself up as he was crossing the line, which is a bit of a shame for him as well. I think Lewis Manley as well. So the top and bottom, a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and when you consider that Brandon Williams, he is 10th and last in the lineup, but by what? 0.4 of a second. In motorsport, generally, we can be guilty of making small amounts of time appear big. If you think about it, what's 0.4 of a second? It's like now. Just now, and that separates the entire 10 finalists over not just one corner but a complete lap. So Spanners, there's really nothing in it, isn't there?
No, but I would have expected, obviously, Medart to be a little bit further up. So when it's a tight track with 10 guys this good, being in 7th place, it's not like you think, oh well, it's over the course of a Grand Prix that it's going to rain or something and something's going to mix it up. You've got to think the winner's going to come from the top 3, 4, maybe 5.
Absolutely. Now we've got a little bit of a longer race for the final itself.
Yeah, we've got to count to 2 with the pit stops.
We do. We've got traditionally a 2 pit stop deal in the final. I mean, that really shakes things up a little bit. So we can expect maybe an early or a late stop. We have seen people stopping late, and bang bang on consecutive laps, they've come into the pits. As usual, it depends on what's going on around them and how they feel. You know what? In the semi-final, when we saw Lewis Manley qualify what he would consider down, he made an early pit stop. I reckon we might see the same again. He's going to be disappointed with that.
You're definitely going to see people rolling the dice from the back of the grid very early, and you've got 2 to play with, so why not use 1 early on?
Exactly, and if we look there, Ruben Boutens is the reigning champion. Of course, he's only 3rd on the grid. We're looking down now, and they've got the draw. Well, they get to choose the karts in order of how they qualified. So, Sherb.
Well, this is key because Lee Hackett doesn't get to choose very high up, even though he's qualified 2nd for starting. I think he's something like 7th to pick.
Right, that could be interesting then. And if he's, he's not going to get his choice of karts. I'm assuming we're talking Ruben Boutens will get that actual choice kart on that basis.
I'm assuming that no one has checked. I'll just say yes.
Well, if Lee Hackett's going to be 7th to pick, he was 7th qualifier for the final. So on point. So that if they're doing it that way round,
I think they are.
That will mean that Ruben Boutens will get the kart selection. Now, the organisers, with the same tester, run the karts about 0.2 of a second, so they know what their karts can do, but they of course will be the drivers themselves will have their own personal favourite.
Some superstitious people on that grid, do you think? Maybe
almost certainly. And maybe Lewis Manley. Look at Lewis Manley on screen there. Look at those eyes, he's ready to go. There's Dean Hale in the background,
who is frankly far too relaxed and has been all weekend. He's the guy with his feet out the cart, chilling out.
He was in the semi-final, wasn't he? As they were about to head out.
Mind you, he's quite far up the grid, to be fair. He was muttering to everyone how he was definitely going to finish last, but he's 7th on the grid.
Well, he might want to change that opinion. He's 7th on the grid, possibly higher, maybe, with the result. There is Brandon Williams. Now, Brandon Williams is going to be making a 10th place start there, Brandon Williams, but we'll see if he can move forward. I mean, the only way is forward for him. I think he's capable of it, to be honest, Spanners. I really do.
Yeah, roll the dice, get yourself in clear air, get out of the early trouble, see what you can do, and you've still got a pit stop in hand to play with. So yeah, expect that from Medart, expect that from Manley, Williams. Probably
All of
they
it.
will. The problem is, what if they all do it out the back and then they end up in a little train by themselves?
Well, it happens. We've seen it.
Yeah.
It does occur. So this is the BRKC Grand Final 2019. And what is up for grabs in this? Well, basically a trophy, the £1,000 first prize, World Championship entries, top 3 trophies, of course, and we'll see who they're going to go to. Gerb is going to, well, he's going to be gunning for it, isn't he? There's Ed White on the left in the blue and orange helmet. Lewis Manley's on the right, and in the middle of them, so to speak, in the number 12, that of course is Brandon Williams. And look, it's that relaxed positioning of Dean Hale again. Once again, he's got his feet up on the wheels, his hands over the side.
He knows that this is being videoed, right? What if we were like that?
Well, he's not the only cool
cam?
one, because if you look, Logan Sune there. Logan Sune to his right in the 19 is another one with his leg out the cart. So a relaxed Logan Sune there. Now, Logan Sune, where did he qualify? 5th. Number 10, of course, that is... it's one of the blue star, what is it called? Medart, yeah, Medart. He's going to be thinking about what he can do.
The bespectacled Medart.
Yeah, that's right. Now he's going to be a bit down by his reckoning. In the distance there, waving at you, that's Patrick.
I was
Neroda.
waving back. What more on
There you go. And there he is, the world champion and reigning British champion, of course, Ruben Bouton's there. So they're heading out and they're going to take up position. Of course, standard rolling start, normal international rules, single file start, warm-up lap, and then race start, and we'll be bringing the action to you. Of course, remember, it's a double pit stop in this race, a slightly longer race, and we'll see what happens. Give me a half-hour race, this one. Lewis Manley kind of getting those front wheels worked in, and, well, we'll see what happens here. So Lewis Manley coming to a stop. They're going to line up on that backstretch, as we've seen all tournament. And taking up the front is going to be Gerb. Gerb is the one being brought forward. It is, of course, one of the 2 Gerb brothers. The other one didn't quite make the final. It's Michael Gerb, 4 times Polish champion.
James Auld, cheeky prediction?
One. Well, to be honest with you, I'm actually going to go a bit consider. I'm actually going to say Ruben Bouton's for 6. You know, I really am. I think it's going to be a great chance for Hackett, but Ruben Bouton's has a nasty little habit of making it happen when it counts. That's really what's got him the results over recent years. He's just able to make it work. You know, as well, if anyone watches Star Trek, as Captain Picard would say, make it so, and Ruben Bouton's has a habit of making it so. Spanners, who's your pick?
Let's go for Hackett. Early lead, hold everyone up.
Well, yeah, I mean, between them, Ruben Bouton's and Lee Hackett have 7 British championships. Wow. Yeah, so 7 British championships have fallen their way, and so Lee Hackett with 2, Ruben Bouton's with an incredible 5. We look in the back of Bouton's there, and he's going to be joined, of course, by Patrick Neroda. There's Neroda heading down. That's Brandon Williams.
I've just noticed for the first time he's got an eyeball on the back of his gold helmet. Brandon Williams.
Yeah, well,
that's gross.
It's looking back at people, isn't it? Unfortunately, he's got nobody to look back at in this situation, because he will be starting 10th.
I don't like it.
But obviously he'll be trying to do something about that. There's Dean Hale on the left, Ed White on the left in front of Hale. White takes up his position, which is of course 6th. So there on the pole there is Gerb, there's Hackett as they go out of view, Bouton, Neroda, Logan Sune, Ed White, Hale, there's Johan Medart, and there is Lewis Manley. There is Lewis Manley in the red suit at the end, and now you can just see over his shoulder, just over us actually, Spanners, our picture there, then Brandon Williams bringing up the rear. So, well, we're going to be getting underway any second. This, folks, is for £1,000. Potentially the most profitable race in all of British motorsport. Yes, you might win more if you're winning in a British Touring Car Championship race, but I bet it costs a lot more to win it than this does. This has cost all these guys about 150 quid, so straight there, there's profit. Now, let's look as they take the start. It is Michael Gerb. Michael Gerb has put it on pole when it counts, and that's the final. And the final is going to get underway. It's the British Championship final for 2019 is on, and we go green, and Gerb's got the lead, but Hackett's with him. Is Hackett going to have a look in the Snell section? He's very close. No, he's not. Gerb's got it covered. Ribbon boots on the outside. As they exit the Snell section, it's still Gerb. Spanners, Gerb has got it in the lead at the moment.
I thought Neroda was going to give it a cheeky look down the inside of Ruben Bouton's. However, he did hold off, but that has cost him, as there's a small gap developing as Bouton's attacks Hackett.
defensive already by Sherb. He's defensive, so is Hackett. Ruben Boutons taking a more standard line down the backstretch. It is still Sherb. Sherb is going to complete the opening lap in the lead of the grand final. He's looking good for £1,000 cash prize at the moment, but Lee Hackett's going to have something to say about that, and Sherb is already being forced to go defensive in the Snell section, so everybody's a pass position. Johan Medart making the move. Hale, contact with Medart, and Medart is now being bundled back by Lewis Manley, and he's going to be freight trained by Brandon Williams.
Yep.
Medart to the outside on the backstretch. Medart drops to last.
Once you get on the outside lane there, there's nothing you can do, and Manley and Williams slipped up the inside there of Medart. But look at the different line that Boutons takes. He takes a very wide line coming out of the Snail, and Naroda is punching, trying to get through there.
It's Ed White in the pits, and Medart's coming a bit early maybe. Is he going to be held up by Ed White? Ed White leaves, and Medart, I think, has got away with it a bit, but that was an early stop. He got bundled out the way, and he thinks now, I need some clean air, I'm just going to set some fast times. He does have one more pit stop to make, but that's probably a good idea by Medart.
This may not startle you, but it looks like Ruben Boutons has got the pace to stay right on the bumper of Lee Hackett and put him under pressure. And it does look like Naroda as well is taking very attacking, shallow lines into a lot of the overtaking corners.
Yeah, we've got another one in the pits. It's Dean Hale. Dean Hale is pitted from about 6th place. He's on the first part of the stop, and he's looking good. He's looking good. Yes, it's green. He's good to go. And Dean Hale rejoins the action. Ed White in the pits as well. Ed White's second stop.
That's right. He's gone for it. He's got them all out of the way. He's going to be on his own now for the rest of the race, possibly until people start making their second stops. But this top 5 is not a bad place to be. They're all sticking quite close together. So from Gerd all the way down to Sonia, I think that's an all right place. You don't have to pit out there. They're going to be quick.
Yeah, I mean, they're all within about 0.2 of a second in qualifying, so there's no question that they're not technically holding each other up.
It's interesting that none of the top 5 have gone, but everyone else has rolled the dice.
Yeah, I think all the action was happening top 5 and back, and I think it just freaked them all out, and they wanted out of it. So everyone pitted. Ed White, of course, made 2 stops. Ed White has now completed all of his pit stops for the entire championship. And Ed White is just going to be looking at setting lap times on his own.
Well, Ed White is the only person here who cannot have a problem with a pit stop now for the rest of the championship as well. There's that. But like we said, if lots of people take an early stop, you have to take another one to get yourself out of that bunch, and that's what he's done.
Absolutely. So Ed White is on his own completely. Now here's on screen Sherb. Sherb leading the way, 4-time Polish champion from Lee Hackett, twice British champion, and then Ruben Boutons, 5 times British champion and double world champion. So titles galore at the front of this field, and Sherb clicks off another lap in the lead. He's 6 laps in, plenty of time to go though, still 26 minutes remaining in this race. Lee Hackett watching brief in 2nd place, but he does have the double world champion behind him in the shape of Ruben Boutons, and Sherb clearly going to be under pressure here, but he has the lead and he has a clear road in front of him.
You have to imagine at this point everybody has got somebody off track who's going to advise them when is the time to come in for a pit.
Absolutely, and I think a couple of them might have more than one. And certainly I'm sure our virtual kart manager is going to come into play, Spanners.
So a lot of armchair kart manager for sure. But this top 5, you're probably suspecting right now that the winner is going to come from this top 5.
Absolutely, we're talking about certainly 5 of the finest drivers in the world at the moment, led there by Michael Sherb, the Polish driver, and Lee Hackett behind, and Ruben Boutons in 3rd place. Now, Hackett knows that Ruben Boutons is going to be thinking exactly the right things. So whatever Ruben Boutons does is likely to be right, basically. He's not really hassling Hackett at the moment, so clearly he has faith that Hackett can stay with Sherb, and it's too early to do anything silly. But Ruben Boutons, as soon as he feels the need, is probably going to make a move on Hackett. I don't think he's going to pit himself out of anything yet, is Boutons.
No, so in real terms, apart from this top 5, you've got Manley 4 seconds off the back of it, Williams 6 seconds off the back of it, and then Dean Hale is the first of the hitters, who's 15 seconds behind the lead, 13 seconds. So all that top 5 can now pit ahead of Dean Hale, and that's the crucial pit window that we're watching.
Absolutely, and what is interesting is if you take Ed White, and we're saying that, well, ordinarily we say 10 or 11 seconds is a great pit stop. At this level, with the final, we'll probably be needing to be pitting in 10 seconds if you don't want to lose a space. So Ed White, 23 seconds off, he does need to make up some time.
He does at the moment, but he's in the right place to do it. He's in clean air, and he has to trust Ed White to do the best job that Ed White can do.
And would you believe it, Spanners? You guessed without looking at the screen who is the fastest on the track.
I'm just going to say Ed White, because that's the last 3 names I said.
Let me throw it at you. Lewis Manley.
Really? Oh, excellent. Well, he is definitely emotionally invested in this championship. It means so much to him, and I think a lot of people are willing him on to a good result. He's currently running in 6th place, and he's not a million miles away from that top 5.
And Lewis Manley's fastest lap of the race so far is a 32.000. Who is going to be first into the 31s? Everyone else on 32.0 in front of Manley, but Manley, running in 6th place, is the fastest on track. There's Manley about to start another lap. We're looking on screen at Ruben Boutons, the reigning world champion. He's working hard on double British champion Lee Hackett, that's the one. And but Gerb continues in the lead by 0.6 of a second.
Out of that top 5, there's about 5 different lines they will take into that snail hairpin, which every time makes me sit and pay attention or they shuffle back into line.
Ruben Boutons down the inside has passed Hackett. He's passed Hackett to second. And again, that seems to be Ruben Boutons' favourite overtaking place in this championship. He's mostly got it done, but that, it has to be said, is the cleanest pass on anyone who's pulled off.
Yeah, Hackett might be upset that he's left a big gap there, to be fair.
At least Hackett's still running 3rd. Now, Lee Hackett, was he waiting for Ruben Boutons to pass and then pit, or will he stay out there? Ruben Boutons is 1 second behind the leader, Gerb, so a little bit of time lost, maybe.
Sometimes maybe if you get a bad beat or you get a bad pass, you want to take a pit stop and consolidate yourself. But if it's Ruben Boutons, he's probably not flabbergasted that that's happened.
No, he's not. Lee Hackett does stay out, so he's kind of answered the question about whether or not he's going to come in the pits. Ruben Boutons obviously not going to come in the pits. Now, can he close in on Gerb? He's 1.0 seconds behind the leader Gerb, and Ruben Boutons is going to be chasing him down. Ruben Boutons, double world champion, 5 times British champion, is closing on the leader, hopefully from his point of view. Fastest on the track though, now in first in the 31s is Jan Medard, and Ed White has gone quickest. Ed White is now fast on the track. Now, that was Ed White's whole plan, to get both pit stops out of the way and set some record laps, and that's exactly what he's doing. He may be running 10th, but Ed White is fastest on track as we speak.
Now, for whatever reason, Lee Hackett is starting to lose touch of Ruben Boutons as well, so he may be holding up on the road in some way at this point. It's interesting if those 4th and 5th place people do feel that Hackett is holding them up. If they can't get past, that could force the pit stop.
Unbelievably, new fastest lap of the race, and that goes to Ruben Boutons, double world champion, currently in 2nd place. And is anyone going to pit? Yes, they are. It's Neroda, Patrick Neroda.
As foretold by Spanish, Neroda's coming to get himself out of the shadow of Hackett at the moment. But if there was a theme song for Ruben Boutons, it would certainly be the Jaws theme at the moment as he closes in on the Gerb.
Absolutely. Well, it was Patrick Neroda there who pitted out from between Hackett and Sune. So there's, as we see, there's Neroda, and he was the one who made the pit stop. So we'll see what happens here. Now, there's the leader, Gerb. There's Ruben Boutons. There's the gap where back to Lee Hackett, and then is Logan Sune. And I believe that Neroda was in that gap between Hackett and Sune. So there's Gerb, Boutons, and Hackett and Sune. You know what? Gerb's doing a great job staying ahead of Ruben Boutons, but he is the fastest on track, 31.8, and Boutons has halved the gap to Gerb. So Boutons is closing in. He's looking good for making it 6 championship wins, but you can't really call anything right now. He's right on the tail of Gerb. He's not going to pit. He's going to close in on the pole ahead of him.
Well, I think what you can call is that gap is going to close, and therefore Gerb is going to have to go defensive. We can count on that. It's already happening in front of our eyes.
Now, I remember back in 2014, Ruben Boutons' sister, Annaline Boutons, she was leading the final, having qualified on pole. Ruben Boutons came storming up through from 5th place, and he put a pass on his own sister to take the lead in the championship win back in 2014. And you can only imagine that was a very quiet drive back to Holland. So it is still Gerb, and Ruben Boutons is right on the tail now of the 4 times Polish champion there, Michael Gerb. Ruben Boutons is 0.2 of a second, but it's visual. He's right on the tail now of the Polish champion as they come around this fast part onto the backstretch. Now, Boutons' favourite overtaking place has been at the end of the straight here, but Gerb's onto that. He's on the inside. He's covering the pass.
Surely by now, though, we know that that's coming. I think Gerb, regardless of lap time, just has to stay to the left-hand side, make sure he's tight on that hairpin, and not be proving the chance.
Absolutely, and if as you say, Spanners, the theme tune for Boutons is going to be the Jaws theme, you can bet your life that that shark mouth is open going down the backstretch, because that is where Ruben Boutons, the world champion, has been making moves. He passed Hackett just for position a few laps ago down at that very point. Now here it is, and Gerb's onto that. Gerb is covering the inside. Now Ruben's trying to make an even tighter inside than even Gerb's allowing him there. It hasn't come off. Boutons switches to the outside and back across, but Gerb's got it covered. Now Ruben Boutons dropped back a little bit from Gerb there, but you can bet your life he'll be closing in. It's up to 0.6 of a second now is the lead gap, which frankly is nothing.
You can see where he's catching him. He is catching him through the slow stuff as well. He certainly does seem to have the pace around the end of the snake onto the back of the straight to catch up. And he had that on Hackett, and he's also got that.
Okay, an update on those early pit stoppers. Well, Lewis Manley, remember how he rolled the dice with an early pit stop? He wasn't looking quite confident, but he's up to 5th place now. Lewis Manley storming through up to 5th place. Ed White has made 2 stops. He's still 23 seconds behind the leader, so at the moment, from a win point of view, you'd have to say it may not pay off for Ed White, but he certainly will be up the order in the final reckoning. This could be a Tom Van Dijk job. Remember this happened last year. We all forgot Tom Van Dijk, and he came through and nearly took the whole championship by doing a similar strategy to Ed White, and I'm sure Ed White's got that in mind for 2019.
I'm sure he has, James, but just going back to Manley for a second, he is pit adjusted in 6th, and we do have a pitter at number 19.
Logan Sune has pitted from 4th place. He's dropped back behind Manley up to 4th place. Logan Sune, it seems forever when you stopped. He rejoins, and Sune has dropped to 6th place. 6th place for Sune now as he exits the pit.
He's trading paint with Naroda on the outside of the Snell, and I think he's got the inside line, so Naroda's going to have to fall back in behind.
Absolutely, it's a very close run thing for Sune. Naroda almost had him there, but luckily for Sune, he's managed to hold on. But Naroda is going to have a stab at him coming down the back straight. Surely, he's absolutely on him. He's trying to pass the outside. It's Naroda to the outside. There we are on screen, and he's going around the outside, but it's not happened. Logan Sune's managed to hold on as they come into the stadium area here at Formula Fast in Milton Keynes, and they're crossing the line to start another lap.
Lee Hackett under pressure.
And Johan Medart is waving at Dean Hale. Johan Medart is waving away at Dean Hale. We're looking at the battle. Sune on Patrick Naroda here. It was Logan Sune came out of the pits right into the path of Patrick Naroda, and we've seen Patrick Naroda get pretty fierce this weekend, so could be fireworks here. They're onto the back stretch. What's Naroda going to do? He's well, he's not in a position to pass, so he's not going to take it. Now we're looking now at Dean Hale. He's waving Medart through, so obviously there was a bad pass going on, and Dean Hale has been forced to give the position back. We did see Medart waving earlier on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, out of view was the move, but I think Medart waving in disgust and being put back into place by Hale suggests a bad pass somewhere around the track. So it's Michael Gerb. He's leading by 0.6 of a second from double world champion Ruben Boutons. Lee Hackett continues in 4th, 2.5 seconds behind. Lewis Manley, sorry, in 3rd, because Lewis Manley is up to 4th, and Lewis Manley, yeah, he's really closing in there. Johan Medart maintains the fastest lap though. He's down in 8th, and Johan Medart, who has moved up ahead of Dean Hale, being put back in place, is the fastest on the track. There's Lewis Manley, year in, year out, one of the top British hopes. He qualified way down the order, but he's now up to 4th. We'll see where he ends up when those pit stops cycle through.
Yeah, I think pit adjusted, he still is in 6th place, but the progress he's making is relative to the
Ruben Boutons just set the fastest lap of the race, a new fastest lap in this race for Ruben Boutons, 5 times British champ, and he has now moved to just half a second away from the leader, Michael Gerb. Now we're looking again at Logan Sune. He's not been able to get clear of Patrick Naroda. Patrick Naroda almost got him coming out of the pits, and he's staying with him. This could be very dangerous for Logan Sune. Logan Sune in 6th place now with Naroda 7th.
So Gerb has absolutely no reason or incentive whatsoever to hit as it stands right now. The only person who has the incentive to roll the dice would be Boutons if he can't find a way across the track.
And someone we haven't mentioned, but worthy of note here, Brandon Williams has moved up from 10th place into 5th as we speak. Obviously, depending on what his strategy is, he's 10 seconds away from the leader, Gerb. That suggests no stop yet for Brandon Williams.
Yeah, that's right. So when he does pit, he's going to come out in 9th place behind Dean Hale as it stands at the minute.
Okay, with Brandon Williams is on screen now, and he's making his way around the course. He's not coming in this time. He's heading out to complete another lap. Behind him there, that's Sune and Niroda, and Williams will be very keen to stay ahead of that. Getting drawn back into that one will be disastrous for Brandon Williams' championship, because Logan Sune and Patrick Niroda are really hard at it. They're not passing and repassing, but Logan Sune has got Patrick Niroda absolutely stuck to his tail.
Big move by Ruben Boutens into the hairpin. He's definitely made a handful of contact. It'll be interesting to see if that was deemed as fair, but to be honest, it looks cleaner than a lot of the moves we've seen in that hairpin.
And Ruben Boutens takes the lead of the final of the British Road Car Championship 2019. The world champion is in the lead over Polish champion Michael Scherb, and there he is, Ruben Boutens, the world champion and 5 times British champ.
I tell you what, there was no hint whatsoever that he was going to make a move there on previous laps. He'd obviously been eyeing it up. He looks to have taken Gerb completely by surprise there.
Yeah, Ruben Boutens seriously strikes like a cobra, doesn't he? He comes from nowhere and he seems to make it work, and he's made it work on the Polish champ Michael Scherb, and Ruben Boutens, the current British champion and world championship champion, leads the way. 30 laps in, and we have 13 minutes remaining, so we're just over half distance now. Ruben Boutens, he's got his eye on the prize there and is leading the way. And interestingly, down the back of the field there, Ed White has closed in. Now remember, Ed White has made 2 stops. Ruben Boutens and Michael Scherb have made no stops. Now, we always allow 10, 11 seconds or so for a stop. Now, if Ruben Boutens to make 2 stops now, Ed White is only 21 seconds back. He could lose the lead if he made 2 stops now. Ruben Boutens got some work to do, thinking about Ed White, and there's Ed White on picture now. Can the British driver have done enough? This could be the shock of shocks. Remember Tom Van Dijk last year? Exactly the same situation.
Now, I don't want to temper your excitement, James. However, you should know that Boutens has spent time in battle, and they will have been taking time out of each other, whereas Ed White's circulating on his own at the moment as he just enters the backstretch.
Yeah, Ruben Boutens is still the fastest on the track. Ruben Boutens has the race record for this final, and he is leading the way. Let's see what happens with Ed White. Ed White's on the backstretch there. We're looking at Ed White. So there's Ed White. There's Logan Sune still fending off Patrick Niroda, and Ed White very fast. He's still 21 seconds back. It's still serious for Ruben Boutens. This is not over, because Ed White has got all his pit stops out of the way. We're looking back again at Sune. I know we don't want to temper any excitement, but this is serious. This is how Tom Van Dijk did it last year.
22 minutes left in the final, and you and I are sat here looking at the gap between first place on the track and the last place on the track. But into the pit now we have Niroda.
This is Niroda's second stop, I believe, Spanners. So Niroda, this is it now. When he goes out, it's just game on to the flag. He drops to last. Ed White is up a position, and that's 4th position because Ed White's done all his pit stops. He's 5 seconds to the good on Niroda. Very interesting indeed that. Ed White is not out of this game. In fact, I think this shows how well Ed White's done.
So let's look at the gap between Ruben Boutens and Ed White. That is the gap to watch, we think, at the moment. At the moment, it's 21.9. Write that down, kids. You'll need to remember it later.
As things stand right now, Spanners, I would stick my neck out and say, literally, the way things will cycle through here, if the gaps were to stay similar, Ed White, although he's just dropped to 22 seconds, he's good on paper for a top 3 finish, even though he's running 9th.
Yeah.
Top 3 finish potential for Ed White there, and that will be absolutely amazing. He was top British driver last year, but he certainly wasn't top 3. Incredible performance by young Ed White. He's been around a while now, and he's very good indeed, highly rated by all the Brits.
Yeah, certainly. He's one of those markers that if you can keep up with Ed White, if you have a good race against Ed White, you've done well.
Yeah, he's got the speed, he's got the strategy, and he knows how to get it done. And that could be an inspired early pit stops. We know to look down the order because of Tom Van Dijk last year, because he nearly caught Ruben Boutens out. He certainly caught us out.
Oh, it was close, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, remember, because Tom Van Dijk came from nowhere by 2 stops early on. When Ruben Boutens came out of the pits, we were thinking about Johan Medart, and suddenly there was Tom Van Dijk nearly taking the lead. They were side by side.
It's good to know someone's watching those old YouTube videos.
Yes, I think Ed White was paying particular attention to that one. He was in the final last year. He obviously watched it back and keeping an eye on what was happening with Van Dijk. Now there is Ed White. Ed White, this could be one of the most inspired runs this year now. I think on paper, Ed White, I'm going to stick my neck out. I don't want to tempt fate, but Ed White could be looking for a top 3 finish. He's way off the leads at the moment, 22 seconds back, but he's got both pit stops in hand. He's just got to go through to finish. He's 22 seconds behind the leader with no stops to make, and the leaders have two. At least 10 seconds lost each time we pit. And there's Hale.
There you go, it's all right. Dan Hale pits. We've spotted the same thing. Let's see, though. I think he is going to slot out behind the number 8 of the rotor, so Dan Hale resumes his position, propping up the grid.
Traditional arm waving coming out the pits there. Was that an oh no arm wave, or was that Slavek Piskor's taking a photo of him and Dean Hale was waving?
It's hard to tell. Racing drivers are both emotional and show-offs, so it could be either.
Absolutely, and Dean Hale's got a lot to show off with, because he's made the final of the British Rental Car Championship at the first attempt. A great show there. A drive-through penalty though for Dean Hale. Oh my goodness, it must have been an oh my goodness wave, because Dean Hale has been given a drive-through penalty, an invalid stop. He obviously jumped the gun on that final stop. Here he is taking his penalty. That's killed it for Dean Hale. Surely it's going to be taking place for him. Certainly, given the standard of competition he's up against, you cannot give anything away.
When his hand flops out of the car, that's okay in the pit lane, Dean, but not on the track.
And Slavek Piskor's down there. The Polish driver has got pictures of them both, and he's got a picture now in the pit lane. It's Sune, isn't it?
It certainly is Sune, as Ed White rotates past Sune. He's now 2 stops for Sune now, so Ed White is ahead of him on track.
I believe so. Ed White now has started his relentless move to the front.
Naroda and Sune battling on track for position. They've both made 2 stops, and it looks like Sune has managed to stay in front, and that is going to be like 18 minutes. How long is left? 8 minutes. 8 minutes left of those 2 battling towards the checkered flag, I think.
Yeah, that Sune and Naroda battle is going to go down to the wire for sure. Most importantly, from his point of view, who we're looking at now, Ed White has leapfrogged them. It's working for Ed White. These early pit stops, he's playing into his hands. Surely he could be on for a top 3 finish. We've got to keep an eye on Ed White. There he is. Ruben Bouters continues to lead, 40 laps in now, but Ed White is doing what it takes to get himself right into the top of the table.
Naroda is doing everything he can to jump into Sune's kart and get a lift for the checkered flag at the moment.
And that last lap was a new fastest lap of the race for world champion Ruben Bouters, who leads the way. He's now fastest, a new record lap for this race.
Well, if Ed White's going to do something, if he's going to respond, if he's going to threaten for the lead, it has to be now.
Absolutely, and we're looking at the leader of the race, the champion, Ruben Bouters there. Comes over from Holland every year. In fact, he does many championships. He's off to Sweden next weekend. He's competing in the Swedish Championship, and if he stays where he is, he's going to do it with 1,000 quid in his pocket.
Now, hang on then. Rubens is coming up to 2 guys, and if they are unable to get out of his way, that might change the equation a little bit as well.
Absolutely, at this level, you know, good grief. Look who it is. It's the Sune-Naroda battle. If anything, you would cause you to go straight into pit lane spanners, but that is why Ruben Bouters has stayed out, so he's got things in hand so he can deal with this kind of thing.
Yeah, he can take one of the pit stops now, and he can take one later. Or actually, he can probably take them both now and still come out ahead of Ed White.
Yeah, but if he took them both now, he may well put himself behind Johan Medart.
Who I'm sure would happily just wait
Oh,
by.
of course, yes, teammate and clearly close friend. But Ruben Bouters now is coming up towards the back of Logan, and they're fighting for position. Ruben Bouters will see that. Is he going to come in? No, he's not going to come in, but I bet it doesn't last more than a lap before he's in the pits there. Ruben Bouters crossing the line, but he's crossing the line right behind now Logan Sune and Patrick Naroda. They're fighting fiercely. They're the 2 battlers, and here's Ruben Bouters, the race leader. This could be disastrous for Bouters, and it could be fantastic news for Ed White. What's going to happen here?
They're waving the blue flags, but they are in such a deep battle that
Logan Sune looking over his shoulder, he doesn't know who to let through, and well, Patrick Naroda's a bit of an early blue flag, because they are going so fast that Ruben Bouters can't close in on them. I reckon Bouters is going to pit. I reckon he's going to pit. No, he doesn't. Oh my goodness, he does not. He clearly feels it's not a problem. Spanners, what's happening here?
If it was just one of them, Bouters could calculate that, oh, I'm not going to catch him for another lap, but it's 2 of them and they're taking chunks out of each other. So Bouters might have made a slight error here, although it does look like Naroda's going to let him by, so he now only has Sune to deal with.
Yeah, and Naroda's going to try and stay with Bouters. He may use Bouters as the lever to pass Sune. This depends. It'd be disastrous for Naroda if Bouters pits this lap, because then he won't have needed to let him through. But luckily for him, Bouters continues now. If Ruben Bouters has to put Logan Sune a lap down, you can bet your life that Naroda is going to try and jump Sune to position as Bouters passed him. Naroda there is doing exactly the right thing. He's sticking absolutely on the bumper of Ruben Bouters. He's going to try and follow him through past Logan Sune should Bouters stay out on the track.
Goodish news for fans of local hero Lewis Manley. He is starting to close that gap between to Lee Hackett and make a battle of it. That said, as I was waiting to say that, he has made a couple.
Booton's in. Race leader in. Now it's pretty serious here because with 5 minutes remaining, there's a lot of people who've got 2 stops to make. Some with just 1. Ruben Booton's, he's got some in hand, but not much because Lee Hackett and Gerber's take the lead from Hackett. Manley, Booton's resumes in 4th, but he's clear. He's clear of. Is that
it's Hale
behind him?
Yeah,
Brandon Williams is behind him for position, but it's Hale who's behind him physically on the track there.
I don't think Hale's going to bother.
Hale's kind of just waving there,
yeah.
isn't he, to Ruben? Yeah, people in the background, I think, around back where we can't see. He's having a great time.
He's doing a fishing rod motion to try and catch up with him.
Oh, no, Sherber, the leader, the one who took the lead, and Hackett is now in the lead. Double British champion Lee Hackett takes the lead. 40 laps complete. Hackett has made no stops. He's got 4 minutes to do it. Ruben Booton's got to make another one. Manley's up to 2nd. Lewis Manley's up to 2nd ahead of Ruben Booton's.
Both of those guys up front with 0 stops. No?
So Lewis Manley is in 2nd place. It's Lee Hackett. Lee Hackett, is he going to come in? Yes, he is. Lee Hackett, the race leader picks. People have got to get him out of the way now. There's Lee Hackett, the race leader, double British champion.
He's very good through the first part of that pit stop. He's definitely given a bit of a stutter on the accelerator. Shouldn't cost him too much. Looks like a good stop overall. Out in front of Medard.
Excellent job there by Lee Hackett. It is a quick one, about 10.5 seconds, I think, but we're looking at the actual race leader there. It is Lewis Manley. So many times the British hope. He's got some pit stops to make, so he may not be able to hang on to that one. Ruben Booton's in 2nd. Booton's continues to have the record lap for this race. And Manley into the pits. Lewis Manley into the pits.
Oh, this will be key then to see if he can make up any ground. The number 14 car coming around the final turn now. This is going to be awfully close. It's going to be on the outside of Manley, and they're going to be battling through the snail section. I think Hackett's going to have enough to just to cut his nose off, and Manley doesn't respond with a lunge.
Yes, he has. And Brandon Williams is in the pits as Lee Hackett fends off Lewis Manley, and assuming the lead there, we're looking at the race leader. Ruben Booton's back into the lead. 50 laps into the books. They've made 50 laps now with 2 minutes 48 remaining, and Ruben Booton is coming in the pits for a 2nd stop. Now, where's he going to come out? It's going to be in near Ed White. This is crucial. Ed White's only 11 seconds back. Where's Ed White? This is crucial. Ed White may have done it. Manley's coming in behind Booton's.
It's a clean stop as well.
Hackett takes the lead, but where's Ed White? Where's Ed White?
He's just behind him, about a second down the road.
There's Ed White we're looking at, and Ed White, yes, he's just behind, 1 second behind Ruben Booton's, but this may be Ed White's chance to go right up the order. Remember, he double pit stop, he moved right to the tail of the field, and now he's come through. He's currently 4th.
He's 2nd in real terms and net 2nd, if you like. So if he wants to have a go at Ruben Booton's, there he is on the track. Go for it, son.
Absolutely, and have we any pit stops? Surely Medard. Yes, it is Medard. Medard is in the pits now. Johan Medard's out of 2nd place. There's Medard, there's Ruben Booton's continuing on. Medard back into the race.
He's going to come out just behind Lewis Manley. Lewis Manley's going to have enough to chop his nose off, even before they go into
Lewis Manley. Yeah, you're right there, Spanners. Lewis Manley's done it. So at the moment, in the pits there's Brandon Williams completing his 2nd lap. Their 2nd stop, sorry.
Yeah,
a bit further up the road than 2nd lap.
For a net 9th place.
Yeah, the race leader, Ruben Booton's. But look at this, Ed White is right with him. This is a fight for the championship.
Lee Hackett's in the pits now.
Hackett has now been dumped. There's only 1.5 minutes, and just like Tom Van Dyke last year, Ed White is taking the fight to Ruben Booton's by early pit stops. This is a fight for the championship and £1,000 on the line. Ed White wants it from Ruben Booton's. There's the leader, Ed White. There's Ed White's 2nd. There's Ruben Booton's in the lead. Just 1 minute 10 remaining.
So Lee Hackett's come out of his last pit stop in front of Lee Manley.
Indeed, Lewis Manley in 6th place. There's Ruben Booton's. Is he going to make it 6 British Championships in a row? Ed White is the one place to challenge him. Ed White is 2nd, but he's not close enough. They're into the final minute, Spanners. They're into the final minute as Ruben Booton's continues around the snail section in the lead with Ed White in tow.
Yeah, well, he's not dropping Ed White. I don't know if there's going to be enough time, but it actually looks like genuinely Ed White's got the pace to at least bring that gap down.
Yeah, and surely this is going to be the last lap. Maybe we'll see if they're preparing to checker flag. And this is it for the British Championship. The British champion of 2019 is going to be the epic Ruben Booton's. Wins it again, 6 consecutive championships. What can you say? Ruben Boutons, the finest rental kart driver, the finest indoor kart driver in the world, has managed to make it 6 consecutive British Championship wins. Ed White, the best placed Brit, he tried to, well, he did a Tom van Dijk. If Tom van Dijk is back there watching this in Holland, he's going to be saying, hang on, I did that last year. And an amazing performance by double world champion and now 6 times champion Ruben Boutons. Spanners, we've run out of things to say about him, haven't we?
Run out of things to say maybe about Boutons right now in terms of superlatives, but Ed White had a real great hard push. The only people who had the on-track power to do anything about Boutons was Hackett and Gerbs, and I have to go.
Okay, so an amazing performance there. Ruben Boutons has won the British Championship for an unprecedented 6th time. And Ruben Boutons not only 6 championship wins, but 6 consecutive time. And so a fantastic performance there. We're going to get him as he gets out the kart if we can. Amazing effort there by Ruben Boutons, and making our way down. Going to catch up with Ruben Boutons. 6 consecutive championships. Ruben Boutons hugs his sister Annalene, hugs his mum, 6 times British champion. Lewis Manley congratulates Ruben Boutons. The unthinkable has happened. An incredible performance here with Ruben Boutons taking the British Championship. Ruben's unbelievable result there. Incredible. Tell us about it. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good.
6 times British champion Ruben Boutons, and here we are, this Ruben Boutons here. Rubens, I know you've just got out of the car, but please tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm feeling very, very delighted. It's amazing to be here 6 years in a row and win it 6 times. It's hard to believe. The qualification was so close, so I knew from 3rd place was not impossible, but definitely not easy. But I knew I had the best kart, so yeah, I knew I had to be patient, wait for the right moment, because typically I prefer to overtake the end of the straight, but yeah, Michael was defending really well there, so I had to search for another spot, and it worked out perfectly.
Oh, it did indeed work out perfectly. Ed White, though, gave you a run for your money. Ed White did a bit of a Tom van Dijk. If you watch the replay of the race, you'll see 2 very early pit stops by Ed White. Did you have him in mind? I mean, because obviously Tom van Dijk nearly caught everybody napping last year, didn't he? So were you aware of Ed White's situation?
Yeah, I was very well aware, because he was at some point 21.8 seconds behind. So I knew 2 pit stops would be not that much margin. But yeah, then when I passed Michael, I could increase the gap to 22.5. So then I knew I could take it easy in the pit, and yeah, but he was pretty close. In the last laps, we were firing 31.5s. So it was really, really close. But yeah, I'm super happy.
It was an amazing performance, Ruben. Obviously, we'll be seeing you later for the presentation. But well done indeed. Congratulations, mate, and very good luck at the next weekend and in the World Championship. Excellent job. So we're going to try and catch up with anybody we can. Have we got Ed White anywhere? Here comes Ed White. Ed White, we're going to grab him before he... Ed White is here. Here is Ed White. Ed, unbelievable performance. Now, 2nd place, top place British driver. You nearly stuck it to Ruben Boutons, and that is saying something. It's a fantastic 2nd place. Now, last year we saw Tom van Dijk in the final make 2 very early pit stops, and he nearly leapfrogged Boutons. Was that on your mind? Have you been studying the videos?
Well, I just thought that they'd all be battling, and I thought if we're getting clean air, get some clean laps in. But yeah, Ruben got by them pretty quickly, and then it was just, he was doing purple laps after that, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Absolutely, he was very fast, but you were very close to him at the end. At the end there, when you could see him when he came out of the pits, did you think, do you know what, this is on?
He pitted, we've got 2 minutes to go. The gap was a bit too big to have a bit of a race with, but yeah, no, I'm happy with 2nd. Really pleased with that.
Well, that was a fantastic performance. Really, really good there. Congratulations, everybody. Top British driver, and a fantastic showing here at the British Rental Kart Championship. So we're going to try and find Gerb. Where's Michael Gerb? Oh, well, actually, Lee Hackett is with Spanners. Take it away, boys.
I've just got a quick word with Lee. Lee, you know your job was to hold Ruben up there, don't you?
I tried my best, to be honest. I didn't think there was a gap there, and suddenly he was there. I was like, what? It was only half a kart. But yeah, impressive move. Really good drive from Ruben. Got past the 2 who qualified ahead of him. So what can you say, 6-time champ. Gutted to come fourth, actually, just off the podium. So
in the end, though, did very well to hold off Manley as well and stay ahead of him.
Yeah, I had the 7th pick of the kart, so to finish fourth, pretty happy.
Oh, I love it. A nice little excuse in at the end as well. No, great performance, Lee Hackett. Well done there. Let's see, let's pan back. Let's see who James has caught up with. I'm just going to see and get the attention of James here, who's been talking to Ruben Boutins. He's a big fan of Ruben himself, watched him win all 6 of his titles, and then the 7th before that was Lee Hackett, who we've just spoken to as well. But like Lee was saying, he just had no idea that Boutins was going to make that move at all.
No, it came from nowhere. We were watching it and we had no idea he was going to make the move, and we had the benefit of being watching up from high. So absolutely outstanding there. Ruben Boutins just suddenly was on the inside and made the pass, and of course it caught Lee out, caught us out, and we were watching from above. So if it catches us out, we're watching from above. It's going to get, going to really, struggle for Lee Hackett to see that. Very quickly, Lewis Manley. Lewis, early pit stops for you. How was it shaping up for you? Did you think you had a chance?
I didn't think podium was not impossible, because I found my pace was very good. I'm so happy with 5th place. To start from 9th to finish 5th, that's over the moon with that. I pitted 2 pit stops very late because I saw the others coming in and start fighting and defending. I thought, this is my chance, and I took it. And so obviously P5, couldn't have asked for any better. I'm so happy.
Excellent job there, Lewis Manley. Obviously making the final. We always actually expect that from you, and every year you deliver. So well done indeed, mate. And we're going to go and see if we can get a word with Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams, of course, a debutant. Brandon, sorry to pull you away. Can we get an interview with you here? Brandon Williams, you made the final in your first BRKC. I know you're a champion with Kart Sport, but this is quite an epic performance. We don't see people normally make a debut and make it into the final. How are you feeling?
Not the best, to be honest.
Not the best? You've just been in the final of the British Championship and you weren't last.
Oh yeah, I was happy I was in the final. I would have been last, but Dean messed up one of his pit stops. But yeah, I'm happy to be in the final, but just...
In the final against some of the best of the world, Dante Dillon, of course, behind you. We understand that Dillon actually waved you through in the semi-final, and that gave you just enough points to ensure a place in the final. Pretty good show by him. That very sportsmanlike indeed.
Yeah, in the same team, so he had to do it really.
Absolutely. Well, theoretically, everyone is on out for themselves here. Obviously, your first time here at the British Rental Kart Championship, indoor racing as well. How do you feel about the situation?
I think try it outdoor next year. We'll see how it goes on.
Oh, it's always going to be indoor. It's the indoor championship. Obviously, this year, Kart Sport again for you?
No, I didn't do it last year either. I haven't done it since 2016.
All right, I thought you were the reigning champion. You've obviously won it before.
Sam Lovelace won it last year.
Okay, well, we had you listed down as being the champion, so, well, you should have kept that one quiet, because it's on live at now. But, oh, fine, so you were a champion previously. That's great there. Brandon, will you be back next year?
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Okay, well, hopefully you will be, because it was a star turn this year. Slavik, have we... here we are. Michael Scherb and Michael Spanners.
Well, I was just going to say to Michael, at the beginning of the weekend, if we'd have said to you, hey, 3rd place, you might have taken it. But in context, there was more to offer.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad result for me. I am first time in BRKC. That was really nice race, really nice qualifying. My kart wasn't fast enough to win with these 2 guys, but I hope in the next year will be better.
So disappointing to lose out in the final hairpin here, but it was a fantastic move. Very firm, but a fair move.
Yeah, I feel that he's in my bag, but I think I didn't give him enough gap, but as we can see, Ruben make it better. He's really nice, he can concentrate, his racing style is really in highest level.
But of all the things to be disappointed about, 3rd place in the British Rental Kart Championships, it's not bad.
Yeah, of course, it's a nice result.
You're going to be back next year to fight for a win?
Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I believe you. I think we've got definitely more to see from you and your brother as well. Great performances from those guys. Let's go and wander and catch up with James. Can you move that thing, can you? Can you walk and talk? That's okay. So we're going to go up. As you can see, they're setting up the podium over here. And let's see if all 3 people can stay upright for the podium ceremony this week. And of course, we've had a great time here. James, let's catch up with you. We've got the attention of the live stream, and we've got the attention, and now that we've got the attention of everyone, why don't we try and catch up with the race organiser? But it has been a fantastic event. We've had great fun up there all weekend.
Spanners, it's been a wonderful tournament, and helpful to us, arguably, has been the unpredictability of the results. I mean, when you consider people like Conor Marsh, a midfield driver generally is how he is regarded, with the occasional time to shine, but he's actually taken it to the front, and he's shown he's won races. Amazing performance.
Think back to Amira picking up a race win as well.
I mean, was that the win of the weekend, really?
I mean, possibly. There's even more
Unbelievable.
Than that, Llewellyn as well, picking up a race win and coming and chatting with me too.
Staggering.
He seemed quite staggered as well. He came and apologised. He said, "I'm sorry about that interview." I said, "No, it was fine." He goes, "I wasn't expecting it."
No, absolutely. Well, if he's back next year, he'll probably polish up, won't he? Just in case he wins again. But some astounding performances. We're going to go and have a little word now with the circuit manager.
We're going to surprise you, Phil. Here's the very cool Phil Stanley, who he's in charge of this place. How do you feel the event has gone? Thank you so much for putting on such a great event.
No problem, yeah. Very good, exciting as always. Kept us on our toes in race control. Very close racing as always. Very good event.
Thank you very much, Phil, a man of many
It has to be said, the event gets better and better every year. The kart's so even here. I know they run a very tight ship, but there's no real complaints, and everyone gets a fair crack of the whip. So the champion ends up being the most worthy. Once again, it's Ruben Boutens, 6 times champions.
Even without the pizza, this has been a fantastic event. But yeah, Ruben Boutens, he's creating a legend for himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he's creating a legend for himself all over the world, because he wins championships consistently. He's front runner in the World Championship. He's won the last 2 world titles, and of course there's no stopping him. He's off to Sweden next week to win the Swedish Championship, as far as he's concerned. The man's a machine.
He certainly is. And wasn't there a rule before that if you couldn't carry your own ballast, you couldn't enter the competition? I think these trolleys are a bit of a cheat.
They are, and of course Guillermo van Pamelen was famous last year for actually not physically being able to lift his own weight. Such was the amount of weight that was going into the cart that he physically wasn't strong enough to lift it. Guillermo this time appeared to be able to carry his own weight, obviously. They've obviously taken him to Burger King in the meantime or whatever. But what we're waiting for now is the prize giving, so please, on the live stream, stick around for that. And we'll be on with that as soon as possible. They're just going to prepare that, and we'll be straight in with the action for that one.
It's glad that we still get a bit of extra time to talk. I thought they were going to cut away, but apparently the live stream cannot get enough of you and me.
Okay.
Speaking of Van Pamelen, he just missed out on the final, but he's got time on his side, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. I mean, very young driver. He's won junior championships. He's the reigning European junior championship. Surely he's going to be a factor in the world championship. In fact, when you look at Van Pamelen, he potentially is a finalist at world level. He narrowly missed out this time, and Van Pamelen, among the best in the world. I think the big loser, was it who was 11th? It was Dan Healy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dan Healy was 11th.
It was only by 1 place, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
He missed out.
And when you consider that Brandon Williams managed to jump in there on the basis that he got waved through by Dante Dillon, who realised he himself could not make the final. He very generously waved Brandon Williams through, didn't he? So Dan Healy is probably a little bit grumpy right now.
Well, there is a team event, isn't there?
Yes, there is. In the same team.
I don't know if we are announcing any of the team winners, but I know that Ed White's team, for example, finished 2nd.
We'll be looking at that when we get the scores in. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's fundamentally an individual championship, and of course, Ruben Boutens has won. But it's going to be very, very interesting for next year, because Ruben Boutens had to work hard for this one. I know Tom van Dijk nearly beat him last year, but throughout the heats, it was a tougher proposition this time around.
Oh, it certainly was. I mean, we saw him out of his comfort zone, but did we, in some way, by making it harder for him in the heats, just evolve a harder, stronger, tougher booting.
Well,
I think we've hurt ourselves, if you like.
Well, I love the way we did it, as if you and I were actually out there challenging the world champion. But on a serious note, though, the point you make is correct. Ruben Boutens was forced into a position where he had to start making robust passes. He had to make robust passes on people who are going very fast, and of course that meant that he really had to go for it, and that was a factor. We're going to have a quick word with series organiser Brad Philpott. Brad, it's been a cracking championship again. How do you feel?
I feel very good. That was the most exciting race in any BRKC event I've witnessed. So
it was, and we've got the feeling that Ruben Boutens, although he's won an unprecedented 6th title, this was the hardest he's had to work.
Yeah, he definitely had to fight for that, didn't he? We had this feeling that he'd find a way to do it anyway, but just all the backstories, Ed White coming on his own, just setting those fast lap times, and would Ruben get held up by defending Gerber? Yeah. And did you notice where it looked like he deliberately just backed off enough to stop the leader from defending?
Yeah, that was in the early stages. He kind of was in the attack to Gerb, and then when he backed off from Gerb, it went to sort of 0.6 of a second, and then he went for it again. So he really might have been luring him in a false sense of security. Obviously, only Ruben Boutens knows that. One interesting thing of this whole tournament, though, Brad, has been some of the shock winners.
Yeah.
Ross O'Mara, I mean, with all due respect to Ross, we've seen him further down the order, 8th, 9th, 10th, battling to get, if he can, into the midfield. And then suddenly, on merit, he pulls off a spectacular win. A really good show from the likes of him. Conor Marsh, we've seen actually beat people on merit. This is not someone who's somehow managed to get through to the win. Both cases, and Llewellyn, of course, too, they actually drove themselves to the front and took the win.
Yeah, there have been some really mega performances in basically every race. There wasn't one race this weekend that I watched and thought, oh, this is quite an easy one, or this is one of the weaker races.
Yeah.
There weren't weak races this year. It was just hard all the way through.
Absolutely, and there's been something strong, something serious to talk about in every race. There's never been any sort of race which we could call, well, it's a bit of a filler. In the commentary, we've not really had time to talk about some of the things like the team situation and everything else that we were actually thinking we might end up talking about, because the action on track has been so tough. From my point of view, I think this actually has been the most action-packed BRKC, not least of which some of the out-of-position driving, should we say. But somehow through all of it, the winner's the same, Ruben Boutens. 6 consecutive championships you've used.
It is absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he was run very, very close by some guys this year.
Yeah.
It was 44 races of just brilliant viewing. So I can't wait to watch some of them back on YouTube.
And of course, the one thing Ruben Boutens win this year, he's been forced to make robust moves to fight for position. Normally we see Ruben Boutens either strategy his way around things or just run away. But this time, of course, he's actually had to fight on a number of occasions. Interestingly, he's done most of his work down the hairpin at the end of the back stretch there. And he's probably made more passes for position down there than anyone else, even though we're not used to seeing him do that.
Yeah, and don't you think it's ironic that actually the move that helped him beat Ed White in the end was done at the Ed White corner, the corner that Ed normally does his passes?
Yes, it was. When he got Lee Hackett, I mean, an incredible move on there. Now, talking of Ed White there, you mentioned Ed White. Very early pit stops. Tom Van Dijk did the same last year. Ed White had obviously sort of picked up a little bit of a trick there. All the time we were wise, because last year Tom Van Dijk not only nearly caught Ruben Boutens out, but nearly caught all of us out. We didn't see that coming. So an early pit stopper was always going to be someone that was being looked at. Ed White, it nearly worked for him as well.
Yeah, we were certainly watching Ed, and a lot of the guys on the live stream, I was reading the comments, they definitely spotted him doing that as well. So it was really the story of the race for us was just seeing how that panned out. But what really won Ruben that in the end was a string of 0.6 second, that was 31.6, I think, over and over and over.
Absolutely.
And it just didn't quite have that last tenth at the crucial moment.
Yeah, obviously the only person in front of Ed White was Ruben Boutens, so you'd say, well, yeah, take Ruben's out and Ed's the winner, obviously his, because he was second. But I think it took, to beat Ed White there, not taking anything away from Ruben Boutens, but it took somebody of Ruben Boutens' calibre to defeat Ed White.
Yeah, and there's only one Ruben Boutens, and he's really done the job again. So should we
absolutely right.
Should we hand out some trophies to him?
Yeah, I think it's trophy time now. So we're going to be looking at the at people coming forward. Have we got the trophies for the podium?
I don't think so yet.
Yes, they are. Okay then, so we're going to start now with the trophies, and we're going to be awarding these. And first of all, it's the new team award, and well, without doubt it goes to the best team in karting at the moment. It is of course from Belgium, Blue Star Racing. Spanners is going to award so Blue Star Racing, we need you coming forward, boys. Here comes Ruben Boutens, and so Blue Star Racing, Ruben Boutens, Johan Medart, Logan Sune. Needs some representation from Blue Star. Well, I'm pleased to say they were all faster than this on the track, and so Blue Star Racing were very rapid on the track, but I think they got that many trophies that it does take a little bit of time for them to come forward and get them. So for Blue Star Racing, we've got Ruben Boutens, Logan Sune and Johan Medart. So, wonderful performance there by the best team on the scene at the moment, Blue Star Racing. And just posing there for pictures, we have, of course, Ruben Boutens, Logan Sune and Johan Medart. Fantastic. That was the new team award. Okay, now we have a very special trophy, and this is awarded to the person who we think has put in the most spectacular performance, and the one that's made it a little bit more special. Someone who's kind of pulled something off a little bit here. Now, this is the Genevieve Reason Trophy. Genevieve Reason was an employee here at Formula Fast. Unfortunately, she died in an accident a few years ago, and we award this in her honour to someone who's sort of pulled something a bit spectacular. And it's been a very tough year to decide who that's going to go to. But this year, it's been a really tight one, but just grabbing it, because he's been away from the scene, come back, and he's made himself into a real challenger. Step forward, please. Lee Hackett, Genevieve Reason Trophy Award winner 2019. Well done, Lee Hackett. Lee Hackett posing for photos there, Genevieve Reason Trophy winner. It was a very tight one to award there, but Lee Hackett, he'd been away for a while, but he's come back recently, and amazing performance there. Former double British champion. Next one up, of course, is another trophy that we award for. It's a memorial one as well. Now, it's the Cam Ho Trophy. This is awarded to drivers over 40 years of age. Now, just quickly to explain this one, when the BRKC was first brought into play, most of the drivers were unknown to each other, and Cam Ho was a driver who somehow claimed to be able to throw away trophies because he had 2 sheds and a whole room filled with them. So he came to the BRKC, didn't do quite so well, and I remember Cam and I was struggling at the World Championship in 2011, and so Cam, a great driver, he was in his 60s. Unfortunately, Cam passed away a couple of years ago, so in honour of him, we're going to award the Cam Ho Masters Trophy for drivers over 40 years of age, and in this case, it goes undisputedly to the South African driver, Richard Jute. Come forward, Richard Jute, a race winner this weekend. Well done, Richard. Excellent, the Cam Ho Trophy, well done indeed. Please do.
Thank you to Belinda, Dylan, Dalton, and the Orange Gang. This is for you guys.
Superb. Oh, pose for some pictures there, please. Yes, hold it up nice and proud, as if you've just won there, Richard. Fantastic. Now we come to the silverware, and of course this is the first, second, and third. We're going to go in reverse order, and then we'll have the champagne spraying. So we're just loading the trophies up. We know what the result is. We're going to start with third place. The trophies are just being put into place. So third place in the British Rental Kart Championship 2019. Step up, Michael Sherb. Fantastic there, Michael Scherb, debutant and podium finisher. Well done, sir. Third place trophy, there is Michael Scherb from Poland. One of the two racing Scherb brothers. Okay, second place and took the fight to Ruben Boutens. The most incredible performance, a bit like Tom van Dijk last year, almost taking the win. Only a couple of seconds behind. Step forward, second place from the United Kingdom, Ed White. Fantastic job there, Ed. Second place, top British driver. Wonderful performance. Ed White. Congratulated there by Michael Scherb. Ed White, second place. Now, the top trophy, it of course goes for the unprecedented 6th occasion. Who can it be? No one else. It's Ruben Boutens. 6-time British champion. Unbelievable. There we go. So hold up the trophies, boys. Nearly, nearly. There we have it. Michael Scherb, Ed White, and the champion 2019, Ruben Boutens. So, posing for photographs just before the champagne spraying. Those remembering the champagne spraying last year will remember how Johan Medart nearly took out the race winner, slipped on his own champagne.
Let's run.
And Ruben Boutens coating second place Ed White, absolutely nailed. I've never seen anyone quite so soaked. And, a late starter there. Gerber is coming fully armed now. He's not got the top off yet. What's going to happen here? He's shaking it up. This could get nasty. Oh, fires it away. Ruben Boutens, wet as can be. Poor old Ed White. 2 bottle loads all over him. I'm not in the middle of that.
You need a tea towel. I think he's scared of it.
So, an incredible British Rental Kart Championship 2019. Ed White not been able to open his yet, a faulty one. Gosh, Brad Philpott nearly getting a mouthful there. Ruben Boutens covered and gets his own back on Michael Gerber. Fantastic show. This time everybody stands up straight. Okay then, so Spanners 2019 British Rental Car Championship draws to a close. Been the best one yet really, and we can only look back on this championship. It's all there on YouTube, and look forward to 2020, would you believe?
And don't underestimate your own contribution, James Old, Mr. BRKC, the voice of the tournament. Thank you for keeping us company as well.
No problem, Spanners. Thank you as well. A great inclusion there at Spanners with all the pit lane commentary. It's been a fantastic tournament, and goodbye, one more year from Spanners and myself. Thank you very much for watching live stream. Excellent work on the footage by Darren Cook and his team, and of course Phil Stanley and all at Formula Fast here in Milton Keynes. One more year is done. Join us next year for the 2020 British Rental Kart Championship.
Smile and wave, James.
Cheerio.